The Young and the Restless has captivated millions with its tales of romance and intrigue, but behind the glamour lie horrifying tragedies. Paul Walker died tragically in a car accident. Kristoff St. and Billy Miller struggled with inner darkness, and many other actors endured unimaginable suffering. What happened to them after the success of the show? Join us as we uncover the truth and pay tribute to the legacies they left behind. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Let's go. Kristoff St. as Neil Winters. Kristoff St. was born on July 15, 1966 in New York City and began his journey with The Young and the Restless in 1991 when he was just 25 years old. Over 28 years of portraying Neil Winters, Kristoff was not only a familiar face, but also a symbol of resilience and talent in the world of soap operas. Neil Winters, a smart, deep, and experienced man who endured countless storms, from family loss and inner battles to troubled romances, became the most featured black character in the history of the show. This role earned Kristoff 2 Daytime Emmy Awards and 10 NAACP Image Awards, but it was also intertwined with a period of personal challenges he faced off-screen. Behind the stage lights, Kristoff's life was a series of silent tragedies. The greatest heartbreak came in 2014 when his firstborn son, Julian, died by suicide after a long struggle with mental illness. This shock seemed to break the father's heart. From a star who always appeared radiant on screen, Kristoff fell into crisis, gradually sinking deeper into sorrow and torment. During those years, although he continued to play Neil Winters, every scene seemed to be an effort to mask an irreparable pain. At that time, he and his father worked on the documentary A Man Called God as a way to seek peace and faith in life. 2 failed marriages, first with boxer Mia St. John, the mother of Julian and Paris, and then with Alana Nadal, the mother of his youngest daughter Lola, further complicated Kristoff's private life. Despite attempts to find new happiness, including becoming engaged to model Ksenia Mikhaileva in 2018, Kristoff seemed never to escape the emptiness inside. He openly spoke about his battle with depression, becoming a powerful voice calling for greater community awareness of mental health, something he himself struggled with every day. Although he appeared in notable works such as Roots. The Next Generations and Generations, Kristoff's most significant mark was always the profound character of Neil Winters, but behind that were sleepless nights and days where he had to summon the strength to fulfill his role, even as his soul was hardened by loss. In the end, all his efforts to overcome the pain could not save him from a cruel fate. On February 3, 2019, Kristoff St. passed away at his home in Los Angeles at the age of 52. The cause was identified as hypertrophic heart disease, an unexpected and heartbreaking end to a life full of turbulence. Kristoff's net worth at the time of his passing was estimated at around $4 million, the result of nearly 3 decades of dedication to The Young and the Restless and the prestigious awards he had earned. His passing left an irreplaceable void in the hearts of colleagues, fans, and all who admired his strength in life. Jeanne Cooper as Catherine Chancellor. Wilma Jeanne Cooper was born on October 25, 1928, in Taft, California. In 1973, when she was 46 years old, she began her journey with The Young and the Restless, portraying Catherine Chancellor. Catherine was not just a wealthy countess, but also the soul of the fictional city of Genoa City. For nearly 40 years on the show, Jeanne Cooper transformed Catherine Chancellor into a model of a strong, proud woman, in stark contrast to her real-life experiences. From her teenage years, Jeanne tasted early loss when her mother died when she was just 15 years old. That tragedy left an unfillable void in the young girl's heart, and perhaps it was this very pain that drew her to the stage and screen as a form of escape. In the early years of her career, Jeanne worked tirelessly in small roles, appearing in The Redhead from Wyoming and later The Intruder, but during this time, her private life was full of tension. Her marriage to producer Harry Bernsen, which seemed happy, ended after 23 years together, leaving Jeanne to shoulder the responsibility of raising their 3 children alone, including Corbin Bernsen, who would later become a star. After the divorce, she once confided that they hardly kept in touch, and that distance became a painful wound in her later years. The pressures from both work and personal life took a toll on Jeanne's mental and physical health many times. She had to steel herself against loneliness as she witnessed her close colleagues pass away one by one. In 1984, during a period when Katherine Chancellor grappled with aging and self-image on the show, Jeanne bravely underwent a facelift live on television. During those times, she continued to take on small roles, such as in The Boston Strangler, just to keep living her passion for acting and momentarily forget her loneliness. Throughout her life, Jeanne Cooper was a devoted mother, but she herself had to struggle with the shadows of aging, illness, and isolation. She was a heavy smoker for many decades, and as a result, in her final years, she suffered from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, with her health steadily declining. In March 2013, Jeanne still appeared in her final scene for The Young and the Restless, right on the occasion of the show's 40th anniversary. Just 5 days after that scene aired, on May 8, 2013, Jeanne took her last breath at the age of 84 after battling complications from a severe infection. Jeanne Cooper's net worth at the time of her passing was estimated at around $8 million, the result of nearly 60 years of tireless dedication to the arts and her unforgettable role as Katherine Chancellor. Jerry Douglas as John Abbott. Jerry Douglas, whose real name was Gerald Rubinstein, was born on November 12, 1932, in Chelsea, Massachusetts. In 1981, when he was 49 years old, he began his journey with The Young and the Restless, portraying John Abbott, the head of the powerful Abbott family in the fictional city of Genoa City. With a calm, virtuous, yet strong-willed demeanor, John Abbott, as brought to life by Jerry Douglas, quickly became the ideal image of a father, a successful businessman, and the pillar of a family. But behind his success on screen, Jerry Douglas's life was filled with silent heartache. His first marriage to actress Arlene Martell, which seemed solid, eventually ended when she took their 2 children, Avra and Jod, and left him, leaving Jerry with a deep loneliness that he carried for many years. The years following the divorce were a time when Jerry worked tirelessly at various jobs to make a living, selling insurance by day and studying acting by night, hoping to find his place in the industry and fill the emptiness within. During this time, he appeared in films such as Mission Impossible and The Feather and Father Gang, but mostly in villain roles, reflecting the inner struggles he was facing. Joy seemed to return when he met Kimberly Bankier, his second wife, whom he loved wholeheartedly. Together, they built a new home and had a son, Hunter. But in his later years, Jerry had to face other harsh challenges as his health steadily declined. The loss of loved ones and his departure from the role of John Abbott in 2006, after a controversial storyline, made him feel even more adrift. On November 9, 2021, just 3 days before his 89th birthday, Jerry Douglas passed away in Los Angeles after a short illness. His net worth at the time of his passing was estimated at around $5 million, the result of his years of dedication to The Young and the Restless and American television. Paul Walker as Brandon Collins. Paul Walker was born on September 12, 1973, in Glendale, California. He entered the world of The Young and the Restless in 1992 when he was just 19 years old, playing Brandon Collins, a passionate, sensitive young man who quickly won the audience's hearts with his handsome appearance and natural acting style. Though it was only a short chapter in his career, this role paved the way for Paul to reach new heights in film. Paul Walker's real life was as full of ups and downs as the characters he portrayed. When his career began to shine with youth films like Varsity Blues and She's All That, both released in 1999, Paul faced tremendous pressure from sudden fame while struggling to balance his love of speed with family responsibilities. His tumultuous relationship with Rebecca Soteros, the mother of his daughter, Meadow, often pushed him into periods of intense stress. Though they never married, Paul always strove to fulfill his duty as a father, especially when Meadow came to live with him in 2011, when she was 13 years old. Amidst the fame of the Fast and Furious series, there were times Paul wanted to step away from Hollywood to pursue his true passions for the ocean and charity work. He took part in National Geographic's Expedition Great White in 2010, dedicating time to researching and conserving great white sharks. Yet behind that strong exterior was a sensitive soul who mourned the loss of close friends, leaving him lonely at the peak of fame. His passion for cars, both a joy and a tragedy, was intertwined with his life until the very end. On November 30th, 2013, after a charity event for Reach Out Worldwide, the organization he founded, Paul was killed in a horrific car accident at the age of 40. The Porsche Carrera GT, driven by his friend Roger Rodas, lost control and burst into flames within seconds, claiming both their lives. Paul's net worth at the time was estimated at around $25 million, the result of a successful career with standout works like The Fast and the Furious, 2001, 8 Below, 2006, and Takers, 2010. His sudden passing left a great void in the hearts of loved ones, friends, and fans around the world. Carolyn Conwell as Mary Williams. Carolyn Conwell was born on May 16, 1930, in Chicago, Illinois. In 1980, when she was 50 years old, she officially joined The Young and the Restless, portraying Mary Williams, the devoted, kind-hearted mother of Paul Williams. Her character became an iconic representation of the loving, caring, and selfless American mother. On screen, Mary Williams was the rock of her family amid the stormy upheavals of Genoa City. That warmth and sincerity helped Carolyn win the audience's hearts during more than 2 decades with the show. However, behind the image of the gentle mother on screen was a real life marked by silent sorrow. Carolyn endured an irreplaceable loss when her beloved husband passed away, leaving her widowed and raising 3 children alone in deep loneliness. That pain seemed to show in every glance and smile of Mary Williams on screen, as if she poured her real-life emotions into the character. During those years, while shouldering the burdens of family, Carolyn continued to work diligently, appearing in films like The Boston Strangler and The Magnificent Seven, though it all seemed like a way for her to fill the emptiness in her heart. Later in life, she also had to battle a chronic illness that slowly eroded her health and spirit, ultimately forcing her to step away from the stage lights. On October 22, 2012, Carolyn Conwell passed away in Long Beach, California, just a few months after her 82nd birthday. Her net worth at the time of her passing was estimated at around $3 million, the result of nearly half a century of dedication to the arts. Marla Adams as Dena Meron. Marla Adams was born on August 28, 1938 in Ocean City, New Jersey, and joined The Young and the Restless in 1983, when she was 45 years old. In the show, she portrayed Dena Abbott Meron, a complex woman who was once the wife of John Abbott and the mother of his 3 children. Marla breathed life into Dena, turning the character into one of the most unforgettable figures in the hearts of Y&R viewers, especially in her later years when Dena's battle with Alzheimer's deeply moved audiences. Perhaps it was Marla's own real-life tragedies that helped her portray Dena so authentically. Her first husband, the great love of her life, left her for her closest friend, leaving Marla heartbroken and alone to raise their 2 children. That loss haunted her for many years and in some way reflected in the layered characters she portrayed, from the secret storm to the young and the restless. Even when she returned to the role of Dena in her later years, Marla's eyes still held an undeniable sadness, mirroring the anguish of the mother she portrayed on screen. Life's trials did not stop there. As in her later years, Marla had to face the cruel challenge of cancer. Although her health deteriorated day by day, she bravely continued to appear before the camera, giving her all to the role of Dena Meron. Fans still remember the touching scenes of Dena struggling with memory loss, unaware that in real life, Marla was fighting her own battle against illness. Amid her private pain, she continued to showcase her talent through roles in Gotcha and White Hot. The mysterious murder of Thelma Todd, though it was The Young and the Restless that cemented her legacy in the hearts of viewers. On April 25, 2024, Marla Adams passed away in Los Angeles after a long battle with cancer, closing the chapter on an 85-year journey filled with ups and downs. She left behind an estate estimated at around $4 million, the result of a lifetime of tireless dedication to the arts. But the greatest legacy she left was the image of Dena Meron, strong, tragic, and compassionate, along with the admiration of millions of fans who had followed her through the years. Terry Lester as Jack Abbott. Terry Lester was born on April 13, 1950, in Indianapolis, Indiana. He joined The Young and the Restless in 1981, when he was 31 years old, and quickly made his mark as Jack Abbott, a charming, ambitious man who was constantly entangled in complex romances and family intrigues in Genoa City. Terry's Jack Abbott wasn't just a womanizer, but a central figure who helped propel The Young and the Restless to the top of the daytime television ratings. But behind the on-screen fame, Terry Lester faced many personal tragedies. He fell into deep despair after the death of his mother, a loss that weighed heavily on his spirit for years. His challenges only grew as he bravely lived his truth during a time when society was filled with prejudice against the LGBTQ+ community. This led to him facing discrimination in both his personal life and career, despite his shining performances in roles such as Mason Capwell in Santa Barbara and the complex Royce Keller in As the World Turns. In his later years, Terry quietly battled AIDS while striving to maintain his dignity and passion for the arts. He shifted toward stage acting, music, and occasional appearances on shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, and Star Trek, Voyager. Even as illness took its toll, Terry continued to create with the same dedication he had shown as Jack Abbott, the character that left audiences remembering a man who was both strong and vulnerable. On November 28, 2003, Terry Lester passed away at the age of 53 after suffering 2 consecutive heart attacks. His net worth was estimated at around $2 million, largely thanks to his role as Jack Abbott and his contributions to television and the stage. Billy Miller as Billy Abbott. Billy Miller was born on September 17, 1979. He first won over The Young and the Restless audiences in 2008, when he was 29 years old, with his portrayal of Billy Abbott, a complex young man with inner turmoil, intelligent yet reckless, always caught up in turbulent romances and bad choices. The role not only earned Billy 3 Daytime Emmy Awards, but also made him one of the most beloved faces on daytime television. Billy Miller's real life, much like the characters he portrayed, was marked by pain and challenges. After the sudden death of his beloved younger sister, Billy fell into a deep emotional crisis. That loss haunted him for many years, leaving him to struggle with bipolar depression. Even as he remained professional, continuing to shine as Jason Morgan and then Drew Kane on General Hospital, and delivering a powerful performance in Fatal Honeymoon, 2012, Billy's silent internal battle seemed to grow ever more intense. During this period, Billy found moments of joy and love, but his relationships quietly ended, partly due to the pressures of his illness, and partly because of emotional wounds that had not yet healed. He never married, had no children, but always showed deep care for his family and close friends. He was also actively involved in charity work, especially for organizations supporting sick children, a cause close to his heart because of the years he spent as a young patient at Texas Scottish Rite Hospital for Children. On September 15, 2023, just 2 days before his 44th birthday, Billy Miller tragically ended his battle with depression with a heartbreaking choice. He was found in Austin, Texas, leaving behind farewell letters and immeasurable grief for his family, friends, colleagues, and fans. His net worth at the time was estimated at around $3 million, the result of years of hard work and wholehearted dedication to his craft. Meg Bennett as Julia Newman. Meg Bennett was born on October 4, 1948. She joined The Young and the Restless in 1980 when she was 32 years old, portraying Julia Newman, the first wife of Victor Newman, a gentle yet deeply wounded woman whose story was tied to major events in the Newman family. This role helped her leave a lasting impression on fans of daytime television dramas. Meg Bennett's real life was no less turbulent than that of the character she portrayed. Shortly after launching her acting career successfully with Search for Tomorrow, she faced a major setback when she was diagnosed with hepatitis, which severely affected her health and nearly ended her career. But with extraordinary determination, she recovered and made a strong comeback as Julia Newman on The Young and the Restless, once again winning over television audiences. It was during this time, working behind the scenes as a writer, that Meg met Robert Guzza Jr., a colleague who would become both her lifelong partner in marriage and a creative collaborator. Their marriage provided emotional support and a shared journey of creativity as they co-wrote many outstanding scripts for General Hospital. Even with a stable career, Meg Bennett could not avoid moments of darkness in her personal life. She endured the heartbreaking loss of her mother, who had always been her greatest source of encouragement. That grief stayed with her for a long time, even as she delivered a memorable performance as the villainous Allegra on General Hospital. During that period, Meg continued to contribute as both a writer and actress, but behind the stage lights were long nights spent confronting the loneliness and emptiness left by her family's loss. In her later years, Meg battled cancer, which gradually eroded her health and spirit. Despite this, she remained strong beside her beloved husband, determined to complete unfinished projects and keep her passion for the arts alive for as long as she could. Their home, which had once belonged to Boris Karloff and Gregory Peck, became her final, peaceful refuge. When she passed away on April 11, 2024, at the age of 75, Meg Bennett left behind a net worth estimated at around $3 million, largely built from her tireless work in acting and writing. Quinn Redeker as Rex Sterling. Quinn Redeker was born on May 2, 1936, in Woodstock, Illinois, and began appearing on The Young and the Restless in 1979, when he was 43 years old. On the show, he played Rex Sterling, a charming yet complicated con man who shook up the lives of many characters in Genoa City. With Rex's scheming yet magnetic persona, Redeker left a strong impression on audiences during nearly 2 decades with the show. Off-screen, Quinn Redeker's life was marked by deep sorrow. One of the greatest losses he faced was the sudden death of his son, a devastating blow that left a permanent scar on his soul. That pain lingered quietly, deeply affecting both his close relationships and his mental health for the rest of his life. During this period, Redeker continued to give to the arts, notably in his role as the manipulative Alex Marshall on Days of Our Lives, and through his celebrated work as a screenwriter on The Deer Hunter, which earned him a prestigious Oscar nomination. On December 20, 2022, Quinn Redeker passed away of natural causes in Los Angeles, ending an 86-year life filled with triumphs and tribulations. His net worth was estimated at around $6 million, largely the result of his enduring acting career and his remarkable success as a screenwriter. Michael Evans as Douglas Austin. Michael Evans was born on July 27, 1920, in Sittingbourne, Kent. He joined The Young and the Restless in 1980 when he was 60 years old, portraying Colonel Douglas Austin, a distinguished English gentleman with strength and deep inner conflict. Douglas Austin was not only a key player in Genoa City's power dynamics, but also brought a unique presence with his calm demeanor and intelligence. Although his brilliant career on Broadway and television brought Michael Evans much acclaim, his personal life was filled with somber notes. The loss of his second wife in 1995 left a great void in his heart, sending him into a period of emotional decline. That sorrow weighed heavily on his later years as Evans began a quiet battle with Alzheimer's disease, the invisible enemy that gradually stole his memory, clarity, and ability to connect with his loved ones. Even as his health faded, Evans remained a respected figure in the arts. Sadly, he passed away on September 4, 2007, at a nursing facility in Woodland Hills at the age of 87. His net worth at the time of his passing was estimated at around $3 million, the fruit of a long, devoted, and admirable career in entertainment. Margarite Ray as Mamie Johnson. Margarite Ray was born on March 18, 1931 in New Orleans, Louisiana. She joined The Young and the Restless in 1980 when she was 49 years old, playing Mamie Johnson, the loyal housekeeper and emotional anchor of the Abbott family. This role was more than just a character. It marked a historic milestone. Margarite became the first black actor to appear regularly on a popular soap opera, paving the way for greater racial diversity on television at the time. Margarite's life off-screen was not without its sorrows. She endured the great pain of losing both her parents, who had instilled in her a love of the arts and a determined spirit. That loss left a deep emptiness in her heart, leading her to choose a quiet life, never marrying or having children, and to devote herself fully to her career and community work. While playing Mamie, she also impressed audiences in roles on Dynasty and Sanford, where she consistently portrayed strong, compassionate women. She quietly stepped away from the screen after her final appearance in 2001, leaving a void for viewers who had cherished the image of the dignified, warm-hearted black woman she brought to life. Sadly, Margarite Ray passed away peacefully on November 18, 2020, in Los Angeles, at the age of 89. She left behind an estimated net worth of about $2.5 million. The result of a lifetime of quiet but remarkable contributions. She was cremated, and her ashes were scattered at sea, just like her life itself, free, dedicated, and forever part of the vast natural world. Marsha Wallace as Annie Wilkes. Marsha Wallace was born on November 1, 1942. She joined The Young and the Restless at the age of 67, portraying Annie Wilkes, a small role filled with humor and charm, true to the style that had endeared her to audiences for decades. Yet her real life was very different from what appeared on screen. Marsha Wallace's life was full of ups and downs. She endured the pain of losing both of her parents and, later, her beloved husband, Dennis Hawley, who died of pancreatic cancer after only 6 happy years of marriage. That loss left a huge void in her heart, and Wallace faced the challenge of raising their only son, whom they had adopted, on her own. Even during those sorrowful years, she continued to pursue her art, appearing in Full House as Mrs. Carruthers and voicing Edna Crabapple, a role that earned her an Emmy Award in 1992. In addition to facing personal loss, Wallace fought bravely against breast cancer after being diagnosed in 1985. This battle turned her into a tireless advocate for public awareness about the disease, through speeches and her 2004 memoir, Don't Look Back, We're Not Going That Way, where she candidly shared her courageous journey. Alongside her rich acting career, Wallace also quietly faced struggles with mental health, including a period of overcoming an eating disorder. Even so, she maintained her optimistic spirit and inspired many who faced hardships, both through her performances and in real life. Roles in Teen Witch and My Mom's a Werewolf reflected that resilient spirit, bringing laughter to audiences even as she battled illness herself. On October 25, 2013, Marsha Wallace passed away at the age of 70 due to pneumonia and complications from cancer. Her net worth at the time of her passing was estimated at around $2 million, largely thanks to her long-standing role on The Simpsons and other memorable performances. The journeys of these stars of The Young and the Restless ended in tragedy, but the light of their talent continues to shine brightly. Which part of their life stories haunts you the most? Share your thoughts, and let's continue uncovering these shocking behind-the-scenes tales together.